everyone. Good afternoon. Hello. Happy Monday. Can you believe we're on week 50 of the year? Week 50 of the year already. And we are narrowing. We're very, very, very close to 600 painted models on the year. I must admit, I had my doubts. I didn't think I'd get there. But it is entirely possible. I've got 14 of the Ratlings models left to go. Well, so there's 10 Ratlings, 1 dog, and 3, like 2 booby traps and a piece of, like, you know, what's it called? Like a box of provisions. So that's 14 models, which will 580, 591. That puts on 591. So the last 9 models of the year, I think I know what they're going to be. I've decided what model number 600 is going to be. Model number 600 on the year is going to be Fulgrim Transfigured. So, what will the other 7 models be? Well, 8 models. What will the other 8 models be? What do you really want to see? What are the other 8 models going to be? That's the big question. Now, I thought maybe 6 of them could be the Saviours of Cinderfall. I thought that was a good... I thought that was a good one. Good afternoon. Wasn't the Warhound the first? It was, Stuart. The very first model we painted this year was a Warhound Titan. That was the very first thing we did in a 24-hour stream on New Year's Day. And I spoke to Alice, and we're not doing anything on New Year's Day, so we will be doing a big old, like, 8-hour stream on New Year's Day. For all of you who don't have anywhere to be, or just want to watch somebody build and paint models, we can do that together as a team. But we will be... we will be streaming live on New Year's Day. A big long hobby stream. I haven't decided what I'm going to try and do in it yet. I might try and do something a little bit saucy. I might kick the year off with my Maggotkin of Nurgle Battle Force. Try and get a pile of that done. Or failing that, I might just, not. I might just, take it easy, do some bits and some bobs, Hey everyone, feels like I was only here yesterday. Oh, I know, right? Only yesterday. Tale of many Warhipsters has begun. It has returned. It was a mammoth day yesterday. Did you guys enjoy it? You glad it's back? You happy? I do these things to please you. It's been hard not being able to hobby along for so much of this year. I know. But you do have a house. That must be nice. That must be a nice feeling. Is Josh feeling good about the new Tales? Yeah, I feel good about it. I'm glad it's back. As I was saying yesterday, when I was putting together the pack yesterday, the format changes have made it so much easier. in terms of the submission process, in terms of what you guys are allowed to submit. Has just made it so much feel a lot easier to put together the pack. There was so much. I saved. I think I must have saved about 2-3 hours in editing time, which was just very, very nice for me. And I think the standard was off the charts yesterday for Tale of Many Warhipsters. I think it's probably the most worthwhile content I make in some ways. Because it's all well and good just, watching painting tutorials and, celebrating, I guess in some ways celebrating my own work, but Tale of Many Warhipsters is all about you guys. You're the ones who make the channel what it is. I just make the videos, but it's up to the fine folks at home to enjoy the content and find the content, at least in any way, shape or form, useful, if indeed you do at all. So for me to be able to kind of celebrate you guys is a great thing for me. I love it. It's the most kind of community engagement type thing that I can do, given as the rest of my time is very, very, very rushed and congested. Vicious Goose, thank you very much for being a member for 18 months. Sorry I missed it. Work and a 4-year-old keep me away. Well, those are both very good excuses. There's a very, very good reasons to not be there. Proves that in a corner of the world there are people being inherently nice to each other. I know, right? Like that's the other side of it. Like, there is enough kind of negativity in the world, and also I think criticism. People just being very critical of everything all of the time. My weekend was spent being criticized constantly. In the comment section and in Instagram messages and things like that. I don't know what it was, but this weekend people just had a bee in their bonnet about my continued existence on this planet. So there was a lot of things being thrown my way, which I wasn't enjoying particularly. For a late Tale of Many Warhipsters joiner, any way to retroactively get that gold star? If not, is cool, but figured it didn't hurt to ask. Do you know, Low Monkey Productions? That is a very good question. I will come up with a way. I will come up with a way for folks to recover a gold star. I'll think about it. I'll see if I figure it out. Thank you again. First time taking part. Such an affirming experience. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's one of those things as well, isn't it? That if I am perfectly aware that it can be quite a. If you've never been part of something like that before, it can be quite a kind of almost like a nerve-wracking experience to take part in something like a Tale of Many Warhipsters, because it feels like it could it could be an awful experience because someone might be mean or horrible, but we don't have any of that in the project, and we won't stand for it either. I've only ever wanted it to be this sort of series and thing about how just basically celebrating the fact that we're all miniature painters, and it's the thing that binds us all across continents, across time zones. It's the whole reason we're here. That's the whole thing. Wildcard entries. Wildcard entries could be a good idea. Ugh, YouTube comments. Yeah, Captain Mannerings. I deleted quite a few because there were some that were just outright horrible. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was somebody had decided they'd taken it upon themselves to tear me down. I just dropped a tiny turbine on the ground, so I need to go and investigate for that. That wasn't too bad. I found it. Hey, Laura. Painting 20 clan rats, more detailed than I thought, but models are great. Yeah, that's the thing. The new clan rat models, fantastic. Painting more than 5 at a time, awful, because of the sheer levels of detail that are involved in painting those miniatures. It's kind of what I've been experiencing with the ratlings, actually. The ratlings are great, a really lovely little kill team, great resculpt on some models that have been resculpted for the 4th time in their life cycle. However, there is a stupid amount of detail on all of them. You got some knobhead comments. I did. They happen all the time, right? And you get like people who are just like mad or whatever about something, and that's fine. You know, you just leave them to it, and you let them vent, because you know that's what that's really what they're doing. Something's upsetting them in their life or whatever, and they've decided to take it upon themselves to try and share that pain with someone else by forcing someone else to feel bad about whatever it is that's happened in their life. And I completely understand that, and that's why most of the time I just let the odd one go here and there. But when in a targeted space of 2 or 3 days, there's about 15 or 16 of people just moaning about everything that I do, or being really critical, or being outright dismissive as well of the content and other people. It's like, nah, sorry. I'm not in the mood for this. I don't have to sit here and take it. So I just end up deleting it or blocking it, you know. It is what it is. Why would they even do that? Well, that's it. It's the question is, you know, so anything and anyone could ever be the target of your ire at any time, you know, and you never know. It might be that you've had a really bad day, and you've sat down to paint a miniature to try and take your mind off of that said miniature, and then you've gone to a YouTube video or something, and you've just taken particular umbrage with something that is done in said video, you know, something like that. So you decide to let that person know about it, and that's mostly why that kind of thing happens. Of course, a lot other times it's just somebody who's just essentially trying to somebody without. It's basically someone trying to prove they're better than you, essentially. There's that weird sort of ego thing of, well, I know more about this thing than that guy, so I'm gonna go and give him a piece of my mind. Do you know what I mean? Is it Imperialis time? It is indeed. Everyone started off sucking at painting. It's the only way to get good. Exactly. James, hi Josh. Just popped in because I missed the tail stream to say thank you for the kind words. Your videos are one of the many that got me painting. Hopefully I can keep up with each month. Oh, that's very kind of you, James. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you managed to catch it. How dare you provide good vibes and great tutorials. I know, right? It's absolutely shocking. Shocking behaviour. People like you. So there was one in particular that really annoyed me yesterday. And if you go on, I don't think I got rid of it. I think I left it. It's on my Flamers of Tzeentch video. Now, bearing in mind that in that video you paint Flamers of Tzeentch and you paint an Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch as well. So that video is 2 units, 4 models, and the exact wording of the comment is $100 to paint 1 model. So, well, actually, there's 4. So that's $25 per model. But guess what? You don't have to throw the paints in the bin after you're done. Let's say, for example, that you had 6, 12, 18 Flamers of Tzeentch. And 3 Exalted Flamers of Tzeentch. That's 21 models. Now that economy is looking somewhat better. But let's say you also wanted to paint, like, I don't know, 30 Blue Horrors, because it basically follows the same scheme. Oh. We're on 51 models. Now we've spent $2 per model. Do you see what I mean? It's just like... Oh, dear me. Have you seen the Thunderhawk Imperialis model for a wee little format? That's a huge figure. No, I have... Well, I have seen it. I really want one, because the Imperialis project that I'm hoping to do, once we've hit 600 models, like I said, model number 600 is going to be Fulgrim transfigured. We're not going to paint Legions Imperialis miniatures to get us to 600, because that feels a bit like... Hey, I did 10 tactical marines. That feels a bit disingenuous. But what part of the Imperialis project is to paint a bunch of videos for Legions Imperialis about different color schemes, but to put it based on detachments or formations or whatever they're called. So building these Fire Raptors is part of the deal. Goblin Horde, thank you very much for 5 gifted Warhipster members. Ships, you absolute bloody legend. That is very kind of you. Thank you so much. That puts us to 401. So now we're just 49 away. Any hobby will be astronomically expensive if you only do one. Well, that's the point, right? And yeah, that's the thing. But that is a general. And look, I know some of my, and this is the nuance that you can't explain, which is why, like I said, most of the time, I just leave it when someone complains about price or complains about something, or is just a bit angry at the world or something like that, based on one of my videos. I just most of the time leave it. But when it's a concentrated period of rage, I get annoyed and I get and I get blocky. And look, I know some of my videos, the paint list is outrageous. It is very, very, very long. But it's that whole thing I talked about. And again, someone was really mad at me for setting out the context for my speed paint review. Again, that's another one that happened over the weekend or last week or so. Where when you look at a video of mine, so for example, like the Accursed Cultists, and there's 5 models in that video, and they're all painted very differently with some colours sharing across all. There's 5 different models, and yes, I get it. There's like 30 or 40 paints that are being used, but it's to do it how it is on the box art. And so if you want to, you can just look at it and go, oh, that one's quick and easy, I'll do that, and I'll do it across all 5. And suddenly that video is no longer 50 paints, it's 6. But I'm not gonna jump in the comment section and defend that every time. I'm just gonna let people do that. Let people be annoyed about that. It's fine, because I get it. I understand. I completely understand. But I will remind everybody here, I buy all of these paints. I pay for all of these. Games Workshop doesn't send me them. So I'm in the same boat when it comes to big complicated schemes with loads and loads of paint. It's probably my biggest expense on the channel is paint. Brushes is another one, as is primer, as is glue, tools and the like. Box art is heavy metal. They do 1 billion layers of shades and highlights. Obviously, that's going to have a big paint list. Yeah, there's a much worse. Hey, Jason. I'm very well. Are you okay? I think chat are doing very well. I think they're very happy. Remember, though, what people want is they want to be able to paint their miniatures to look exactly how they picture, but they don't want to spend any money or time on it, and they don't want to have to buy anything in order to do that. And I'm exactly the same. Sometimes I'll look at like a model or something like that, and I definitely used to be this way because of, you know, I mean, as I've mentioned before, so many videos that exist on the internet are how to paint this thing. And you go, okay, cool. Let's see what this is all about. And then it goes, right, in order to do this, you're going to need to buy. You're going to need this thing, and it'll be some out there product that you probably don't have unless you're locked into that person's ecosystem. And my ecosystem is Citadel, so it's fairly broad. But at no point do I, you know, throw at you like a weird Winsor and Newton product or something like that, which most of you won't have, you know. Red Rum, thank you very much for the €5. That's why I love to watch your videos, but I can never follow them because they overwhelm me, and there are painters out there that do Angron in 15 paints. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly correct. There are people out there who will do that, and they do a great job. You know, and that is all about, you know, your comfort level in terms of the painting. Now, the one thing I can probably do to make my videos a little bit better, and I might start doing this in January, is actually just split them in half. So the beginning part will tell you what the first half of it is, so the Warhipster battle ready, and I think that will really help, because I think the wall of paints that I put up sometimes can be quite, you know. So I think from January, what I might do is I might just start literally just, you know, that section where I do paints used, blah blah. I might just do that in half. One at the beginning for the battle ready bit, take it up to battle ready. This is and now if you want to take it next level, this is the list of paints that we're going to be using for the next bit going forward. Sitting here, some tiny Bane Blades because I somehow needed more of them. I need a big Bane Blade. I'm really annoyed at whoever it was who told me I needed to do one, because now all I can think about is Bane Blades. Bane Blades are a problem for me. They are a weakness. They are a weakness for me. I think about Bane Blades all the time. I love Bane Blades. They're fantastic tanks. Are they as good as a Land Raider? No. But they're close. Oh, it goes in there. Don't forget to like the stream, show Mr. Warhipster some love. Yeah, please do that. Please do leave a like on the stream. That would be very kind of you. That is a free way to support the channel. How about a shadow sword or a storm hammer? I like... The reason I love the Baneblade is because I love the turret on it. Now I like the shadow sword. I like it as a tank, but I don't like its profile as much as the Baneblade. I have a great affinity for Baneblades. Vallejo, yeah, yes. Yeah. Vallejo, eh? Not a great look for them, being what's been going on. If you don't know already, Vallejo have been there's an ongoing strike action. I'm not sure if it's been resolved. Pretty sure it hasn't. All of its factory workers have walked out because of working conditions, which is not good. It's not good. I don't need to tell you that. It's a great time to pick up some Pro Acryl instead. Yeah. Saw a good video last night about it. Should we boycott or not? I think if you stand with the workers and you want to see change, then you should boycott. And I think it's a fairly cut and dry thing. In that it's tangible, you know. There is tangible change that has to be made at that company. It's that thing, isn't it, of it's the human cost. It's the human cost of the products of the business, and I think we can all sympathise, because if we were in that similar position, we would want the people that we make products for as a worker. For me as a worker, I would want the people I make products with to want me to keep doing that, but to do that effectively and ethically, and not be, you know, in awful conditions. I think we can all agree that it's that, you know, would you do it? Is the question. Good afternoon, Josh. Sorry I missed the end of last night's stream. What is the new theme for December of Tale of Many Warhipsters? It is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Is the theme for the next month. Demogorgon, £20 for the Baneblade Fund. Oh, Demogorgon, that's very kind of you. Am I starting a Baneblade fund? Is that what you want to see? It's a Baneblade. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Isn't that just Bard's family? Ah, see, the problem with Bard's family is that's the ugly, and the ugly. Mr. the Warhipster, how hyped are you for new MESBG? I'm incredibly hyped for it. I'm very, very excited for it. I've been planning and trying not to buy a bunch of stuff because I don't have any money and it's Christmas. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Could I just submit 3 Alpha Legionnaires in a Mexican standoff? I mean, that's next level, that is, yes. Better for influential people to call on the parent company to talk to the union. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the big question here is what is more important, profit or people? That is what it always comes down to, right? Profit or people? Profit normally wins. Is the sad thing. A Krieg Baneblade. We could do a Baneblade to go with the Krieg. That could work. That would be interesting. The only slight thing that gives me pause about definitely saying, yeah, we'll do a... Hang on, how much is a Baneblade? It is a Baneblade! $115 of Earth pounds. Do you get the 4 sponsons in it now, or do you still have to buy a separate sprue for it? You get it all. Ooh. My box is coming on Saturday. I'm excited for you, Sir Stromming Fish. By the time this week has concluded, all of the MESBG tutorials for War of the Rohirrim will be out. So I need to edit General Targ and the Hill Tribesmen. Those videos will go out. Prince Haleth. No, the other one. Yeah, Haleth or Hammer, one of the two. It's currently on early access. Is it mandatory to paint Bard's family for the part of the ugly? It is not. No. Do you think we will get a Freya, Laf, Hilderson, and Hera from War of the Rohirrim? They are the only major characters missing. Yeah, we absolutely will be getting them. They've already previewed Hera, Bride of Death. They've already previewed her model, but I think there's another one. Because there's 2 profiles for Hera. There is a profile for Freya Laf as well, but no one has seen the model. We don't know what it looks like, so I think they were definitely getting them. It's just a question of when they come. As far as I can tell, there are currently no plans for new Riders of Rohan. However, it wouldn't surprise me if a new Freya Laf model comes along with some new Riders of Rohan a little bit further down the line. But they don't generally tend to release like monthly MESBG, that type of thing. So MESBG is a very slow burn when it comes to releases from Games Workshop, which is sad. But it is what it is. We can only live with it. Maybe so I've got 9. I will after the Rattlings. I'll have 9 models left to go. For the year. We've already said that model number 600 is going to be Fulgrim transfigured. And we need to figure out the other 6. Now, it doesn't make financial sense for me to do it. But I will do it if it's what you guys want. You just have to all promise me that you'll watch the videos. We will do Helm, Hammerhand, Frecker, and Lord Thorn of the Wold as well, if you like. A Death Strike missile launcher for the Krieg. Edward, thank you very much for the £15. Krieg Baneblade. Baneblade fun. I mean, we're already on £35 for the Baneblade. 'Tis a Baneblade! I have been thinking that I think the best way for me to get back into 40k is probably just to play Astra Militarum, because I really love the Astra Militarum. They are, you know, very, 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 very Warhammer, and I feel like I'll have a lot of fun doing that. So, you know, my body is ready for Krieg. My body's very ready for Krieg. And I did think about next year doing a lot more videos that were kind of like, you know, clearing the backlog videos. But to try and make them more like, not clickbaity, that's not the right word, but to make them more like sort of hobby focused. So for example, last night I was thinking about how much terrain I have. And you know, I think we can make like a 2-hour long video that is just I painted enough terrain to play every game ever, you know, that kind of thing. Which I think is, as a video, is more helpful rather than the individual how to paints at times. Just finished watching yesterday's tale. So many awesome models. Well done, everyone who submitted. I agree. Hoping we get a Dunland Battle Host box with some plastic heroes we haven't seen yet. That would be nice. That would be very nice. I can't remember if there's any Dunland stuff that we haven't had mentioned. It's all in the book. Well, I mean, the film comes out on Friday, and Alice and I have I've booked tickets to go and see it on Friday. I'm really excited. And Adam sent me the other day it's like a treatment of some of the music that's going to be in the new film, and it's all, you know, classic Rohirrim. Surely the Dunland Skull guys will get minis. Maybe, we don't know. I think the other thing to bear in mind is that they haven't released any of the rules for anything that they make in Forge World. So we don't know like what the kind of what the Forge World releases are going to look like for stuff like that. So for things like Deowine and Huron and the Arnor stuff, we don't know what any of it does yet. You saw it yesterday. Is it good, Thomas? Sorry, I was turning off my radiator. Yes, I'm very green. I feel quite relaxed just building and talking like this. Is quite nice. 16 goes over there. How do you want me to send the unit that I would like, and do I need to send you a name or a link? Yeah, just shoot me an email at therealwarhipster@gmail.com telling me what you want, and we obviously we we can negotiate over it. There is a spending limit, naturally. So yeah, just shoot me an email. It's the limit is £40, I think. But okay, the limit is £45. Because some things are £42.50. I'm not going to haggle over £2.50. Shoot me an email. Tell me what you want, and also your address, so I can send it to you. If you're based in the States, then we'll figure something else out. But if you're based in the UK, then all good. I'd rather another box of different guys, but not sure with everything else they're giving us. They'll do another. Think it was around 2018 when we got some more Battle of the Five Armies stuff. Yeah, it goes quite slowly with MESBG. I don't see any reason why that's going to change. Despite the fact that there's a new movie coming out. It's weird that it will take a while to come out, I suspect, but definitely getting the new Krieg box to add to my army and moving to paint some Trench Crusade myself. Yeah, if Games Workshop doesn't send me the Krieg, I will buy one. Well, I'll try to buy one. I suspect that's one that will sell out within the first 2 minutes of it going live. And when that happens, it means I have to wake up early. But I'll be getting it regardless. Because I'm excited for that Krieg set. There is a slight I do have this kind of thing where I do kind of want to go and repaint a lot of my Astra Militarum stuff that I did for the videos. Paint it all for the Harakoni Warhawks, because I really enjoy painting that scheme. It's really nice. It's good stuff. But I'm being strong and choosing not to do that because I don't want to drive myself insane. I think the next big thing for the game will be when the Hunt for Golem stuff comes out. Between now and then, I expect maybe more Rohan stuff. Then they may look at the odd update for something. Yeah, I mean, if Hunt for Golem is a New Line film and falls under Jackson's Lord of the Rings, I would expect to see something in support of it in terms of miniatures. I just say thank you so much for your videos. I just finished my Hallowed Knight Spearhead, all using your videos. Love you, buddy. Oh, Lord Billy, thank you. And also, well done. Look, there's stuff they'll have held back because of the film. So we don't know apart from Thomas, we don't know everything that's in the film. But when you watch the film, that will give you an indication of what could potentially be getting new models. Hello, Pritters. Wouldn't surprise me if we get refreshed Last Alliance with revised orcs too. That would certainly be something. The other thing to bear in mind, right, is you always have to consider this kind of thing, is that the world of MESBG, of Middle-earth strategy battle games, the world of Tolkien, the world of Lord of the Rings, is ripe with lots of stories that can be told on the big screen. Now, it is entirely possible that if War of the Rohirrim does well, that there are plans to do other things, like the fall of Beleriand or something like that. All of that is possible, and when that, if in the same style as well, and if they do that, then that means life could be good for MESBG fans. If we get the plastic updates, they will 100% be the core 4 factions before Last Alliance, annoyingly for me. Yeah. It's entirely possible that there might be a box next year. Although it was 2 years since Osgiliath was the last Lord of the Rings box. I loved that. Every time you say MESBG, I go to start singing Respect. Very good. Yeah, Last Alliance would be the thing I'd like to see more than anything, but elves don't usually get as much as Rohan, etc. I would like to see a Last Alliance box happen. It would be nice to see an actual set of plastic Numenorians, well, and High Elves, but Numenorians that are, you know, rather than just the ones with swords, that you can get the spears and shields, and you can get the bows as well. I mean, I know you can get them, but they're metal, right? Or they might even, God forbid, be resin. So it would be nice to see that happen. But I would also hazard a guess that there are some characters like Elendil and Gil-galad that might be a little bit tricky, given that Rings of Power is also happening at the moment. So it might be a slightly difficult licensing deal. Never played MESBG. Can you do a 2-minute rundown of basic game mechanics? Yes. Vaguely. Sort of. I mean, it's not a completely unfamiliar game. For those of you who've played, even like, you know, you will recognize, if you've ever looked at like a Horus Heresy datasheet or an Age of Sigmar data war scroll pre this edition, or like an 8th edition or 9th edition 40k datasheet, a unit profile will not be a complete shock to you. You'll look at it and think, oh yeah, that looks fairly familiar. It's a lot more you go, I go. It's very interactive, very responsive game. It's not as... it's not, I do all my movement, all my shooting, all my charging, then you do yours. It's you go, I go type thing. Hello, Abdul. A few of us in our group are all abstaining from MESBG simply because so many games already and time. Though if one of us folds, you should fold Lone Monkey Productions. One of you should. Variety is the spice of life. You know? Let's face it, you can give 40k a rest. Nothing of consequence is happening in 40k right now, so it's all good. I will genuinely say, I think Lord of the Rings as a game is very, very good. But one of its key features, more so than anything, is how referential it is to the films. And if you are at any point feeling like maybe there's something missing from your games of Age of Sigmar, or your games of Warhammer 40,000, or indeed your games of Horus Heresy, you might find it in MESBG. Because in MESBG, you have got so much clear reference material, and also the armies are designed in such a way now, especially with the way that the unit profiles work and the army construction works, to emulate moments from the film. So, if the thing that you feel like is missing from your life is that kind of narrative spin, is that cinematic inspiration, MESBG might be the thing that holds it for you. I mean, put it this way: you whilst you can do it, it's not recommended that you fight good versus good. It's that you fight evil versus evil. You should fight good versus evil, and so, you know, if you want to scratch that narrative itch, that storytelling itch, if you want to recreate those moments that maybe you you enjoyed so much seeing on screen, that's what MESBG is for. You know? And there is a certain satisfaction in successfully executing the Ride of the Rohirrim, or holding out against the legions of Mordor as the men of the West. And that is what MESBG gives you more so than any other game that Games Workshop makes. And that can all be set to change when Games Workshop finally makes it into the Amazon TV shows or whatever. But my point is that, like, you know, I think we can all say at one point or another, one of the things that we've done, possibly, I mean, I know I definitely did it as a kid, is you go and wave a stick around in the garden with your mates doing sword fights because you're pretending that you're in the Lord of the Rings, basically. Because there's that visual spectacle from the films, there's also the imagination you get from the book. I don't think Games Workshop's done a particularly good job, and I will say this about both games recently. They haven't done a particularly good job of writing in a moment where you want to go, we need to redo this. I want to recreate this battle. And I think they were doing a pretty good job of it up until the end of 8th edition, but it stalled a little bit. You know, there's the tale of... If you take the example of... I will talk about Blood Angels here now. Where it's like, what have the Blood Angels been up to? Fighting Tyranids in the Red Scar. What are they doing at the moment? Fighting Tyranids in the Red Scar. What are they going to be doing for the rest of their lives? Fighting Tyranids in the Red Scar. They've had their big moment. You know? They've had their big moment in the book. Devastation of Baal. And it was great. It's a very simple proposition for people at home to be like, I want to do the Devastation of Baal. I'm going to put my thousands of points of Blood Angels down, and I'm going to fight my friend who has thousands of points of Tyranids, and we're going to make it a defense mission, and the Blood Angels are going to hold out and see if we can last until Gilliman arrives. You know, it's very easy to do that. But since then, it's like, what have they been up to? Just kind of more of the same. But imagine playing a tabletop war game where before you start, you can look down at your miniatures, and in your head, you can picture it. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden. Spears shall be shaken. Shields shall be splintered. A sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises. And then you realise when you look down in your rules that your formation has an ability called Death, where you call for death, and then off you go. Oh, chills. I went to a tournament with Fellowship Boromir, and every time I was outnumbered, blew the Horn of Gondor. Yeah, exactly. Boromir. I want to see either Hill Tribesman or Dunland on Mumak, as you can see one in the trailer. Thank you very much for the 5 there, Big Bad Peter Gaming. I could see it happening. I could see a new Mumak being something that they surprise us with next year. Which means I really ought to build and paint the one that I've got already, shouldn't I? Is that something that you want to see? Should that be one of my last 9 models of the year? Surprised the sword hasn't come out, to be honest. Well, I'm this close. I always feel bad for Aragorn in Return of the King, because I think he gives just as good a speech at the Black Gate. I think he gives just as good a speech as Theoden's, but he does not get the same reaction. The hobbits get a bigger reaction than he does by charging. For Frodo. Oh, honestly, those films make me cry. They just do. They transport me back to being 16 again. And just, I love them so much. It makes me very, very happy. And I get, all of the hairs on the back of my neck stand up when I hear the horns of Rohan. When I hear the Hardanger fiddle. That's why. I mean, it was a stupid idea. It was a stupid idea because I got told off by YouTube for it, but it was absolutely worth it from my perspective to do the intro to my War of the Rohirrim box that I did. But honestly, it's a moment in the film that, as the sort of 12, 13-year-old, however old I was when the film came out, watching it in the cinema, that it's just imprinted on my brain forever, is that your fingers would remember their old strength better if they grasped your sword. And it's because I was so excited for the Two Towers, because I read the books very young. And I loved Theoden, and I loved the Rohirrim and that whole kind of aesthetic and their whole vibe. Sam's speech in the Two Towers gets me every time. Oh, don't. But there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. Sometimes you didn't want to know the ending. I wish I could have seen those films in cinemas. Was too young. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. So I was obsessed. I read the books very young. I read the books very, very young. And when the film came out, my dad thought, Christmas treat, I'll take me and my older brother to go and see them on the day of release. And so we went down to the cinema, and it was completely sold out apart from 3 seats, but none of the 3 seats were together. The dad was like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't. And I was like, I'm desperate to see this. I'm desperate to see this. Please, please, please. Can you say, okay, that's fine. So we go into the cinema, and they sit me down right down here, close to the beginning, close to the front of the cinema, sort of 7 or 8 rows back. My dad and my brother are sat a little bit further back. And as the trailers begin, there's the seats next to my dad didn't fill up. And so he waited until about 10 minutes into the film, and he said to my older brother, you can come and sit next to me. So my older brother goes and sits next to him, and they spend the next hour trying to get my attention to have me go and sit back there, because I was 11 or 12 or something at the time. I can't remember how old I was when the films came out. It's a simple Google away, but they told me this. They relayed this to me at the end, saying, we tried for an hour to get your attention. Did you not even feel the tap on the shoulder? And I'm completely unaware, because I was transported to a different dimension watching the Fellowship of the Ring, because I was finally watching the world that I'd fallen in love with in my imagination. I was finally watching it unfold before me, and not a single part of it was not how I had pictured it in my head. And that's always, I think, the trouble when you have something like a book to film adaptation. And I think they fall down for a lot of the super fans when you're watching a book to film adaptation and it's not how you pictured it. Like the main character doesn't have the right amount of beard, or their hair color's wrong, or that golden, that the hobbit hole doesn't look right, or this, that, and the other, or this, all these kinds of things. But I was watching this world that I had imagined be presented before me on screen, and I was completely and utterly transfixed by the whole thing. And so it was just like that. The thing. And I'm not even certain that I blinked. The theme of Rohan has stuck with me. I'm so glad I was able to see the theatrical releases. Something so special about me and my buddy seeing it together. Yeah. Yeah. And, yeah, it was unbelievable. And I think I think we went back and watched it at the cinema 3 or 4 more times. It was the same deal for me with The Two Towers and The Return of the King. And they just completely and utterly stuck the landing. I've never had a cinema experience like it. And I don't know if I ever will again. I feel like it happened for me at exactly the right time, where I was of an age where I wasn't going to be I wasn't going to sort of question it or anything like that. That it happened at exactly the right moment for me. The horn of Helm Hammerhand will sound in the deep one last time. Yeah, exactly. Look to my coming. At first light on the 5th day. At dawn, look to the east. Ha! Stop it, guys. I'm starting a Sons of Bahamut Army. Can you please do a painting tutorial for the Sons of Bahamut spearhead? I would love to do that for you, Ethan, but I don't have any of the models for it. It's on the list of things to do. It might be that we do it next year as part of the Project Spearhead continuation. Do you do any type of sponsored tutorials? Like if there is a more niche MESBG faction / unit that someone was looking for a tutorial on by you, would they be able to sponsor and pay you to do it? So that's an interesting question. I've never really thought about that before. What are you after, the Hive is back? We are, Mike. A mounted Thranduil on elk tutorial. Who is currently temporarily out of stock. Unfortunately. Vandus was somewhat. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing, right? When it comes to tutorials, so... Oh, actually, that's one thing I needed to do, wasn't it? It was... A Bane Blade! That's 115. Do you have plans to do a Helm Hammerhand painting tutorial soon, or will it be next year? Sly Guy. As in the new one, Wraith of the Hornburg. That one. I've just rediscovered my love of hobby through your Theoden tutorial, now starting on the 3 Hunters box. Nice. Yeah, I can try and get this one done. Now okay, so a little story time. The problem with MESBG tutorials is they don't go down so well on on YouTube. They occasionally go down very well, but they don't generally tend to go down so well. So, for example, the Prince Hammer video is one of the worst performing videos of all time. Yeah, it's 1,000, just over 1,500 views, and it's been out for 3 days, so it's not great. The New Warriors of Rohan have done better. High Lord of the Hill, Wolf has done okay, not great though. Prince Haleth is coming, as is the Hill Tribesman, as is General Targ. The Mirkwood Palace Guards and Rangers, though. Unfortunately, your army won't usually contain many of them. The Santa Helm is tempting. I didn't pre-order it first, like the rest. Yeah, no, he's nice. No one has the hammer model yet, no. No, well, this is the thing, right? So you hope that these videos do better once the box actually comes out. One can hope. But then all content production is a risk on YouTube. You never know what's going to do well and what's not going to do well. So yeah, I can do these 3 because I've got Frecker as well. It's not going to focus. We've got Frecker and we've got Lord Thorn of the Wold as well. So all 3 of these to do. So I can get them primed. Hopefully if the weather holds out. Oh, how about an army of Rohan Shield Maidens? That would be cool. It would be cool. There aren't that many of them left, though. That's the whole point. I do have the Shield Maiden to do. I don't know where she's gone. There she is. Eowyn and Merry. Or Durnhelm, as it's more frequently referred to in the product space. I mean, I am more than happy to spend the rest of the year painting MESBG, but that's only if you guys want that. If you guys don't want that, then I can't do it. My local gaming store has the old Rohan Battle Host box. Do you recommend it as a start to a Rohan army or no? Because those models are a little old. I would recommend it. It's good. It has 6 Riders of Rohan, Aemir on horse and on foot, and then 24 Warriors of Rohan. Now, they are the old Warriors of Rohan, so they're not as nice as the new ones. As an example, here is a new one. And here is an old one. When you compare them, they just about work together. But, like, they are the older models. But the riders aren't getting updated by the looks of things. The Rohan Battle Host is a very good place to get started. And, of course, you do get the gorgeous Aemir model. I mean, this is it, right? I've got a Minas Tirith army to finish, and I've got an MESB. I've got a MESBG. I've got a Rohan army that I need to finish. I need to buy a box of Rohan Riders of Rohan, and I think I'm good to go. I was going to get Daewine, but he's just permanently out of stock, so we'll just have to wait on that front. But Durnhelm. Oh, and I need to get Gamling as well. You should put the music from the Lamatis vid in the MESBG. Will do better. Possibly, you're not wrong. I need to finish these ratlings, though. More so than anything. As you can see, we're about halfway. If I go to the overhead. So that is a finished rattling. Aside from the base. Trying to keep things simple. I've built this Fire Raptor, by the way. Fire Raptor's built. That's what we've done today. So we now have two Fire Raptors for the Legions Imperialis. There they are. Looking good. No. You no longer have to worry about giving everyone throwing spears anymore. Yeah, no. Well, so that's why I'm quite glad my Aemir has a sword. We will get the armoured version of Helm, just not might not be with what we've seen, as he's not even pictured in the new book, so model is probably a little down the line. So this is the thing, right? So I think you'll get Freyalaf, you'll get an armoured version of Hera as well. I think you're going to get an armoured version of Helm. And they will come a little bit further down the line, probably next year. They'll be previewed later. I think the reason that they haven't shown them yet is because they're not in the trailers for the film. Mostly. Some of it is, some of it isn't, but we need to see it happen on the film. They're holding stuff back because of the film, and once the film goes on general release, I think we'll find out more about what's happening with MESBG. I wouldn't be surprised to see a preview in the new year that shows off more of it, basically. My guess would be that you'll see a little bit more MESBG stuff get previewed the time when the DVD or Blu-ray is on sale, or when it goes to streaming, whenever that happens. All this MESBG talk is not helping. No, I can't imagine that it is. I mean, I've already shown this off before, but so this is my little tray of MESBG stuff to paint. And within here we have Huron, we have Ingold, we have some Guards of the Fountain Court, we have some Citadel Guard, we have some Knights of Minas Tirith, we have the Heroes of Helm's Deep. So, as an example, I can do a Heroes of Helm's Deep army once I have painted these bad boys. I need to get Gamling with the banner. We can do a video on that. But he's quite expensive. I also need a box of Galadrim warriors. Is that the right version of Legolas? I think it is. So I've got 12 Riders of Rohan in a box. To do. Do you think MESBG releases next year will all focus on the new film, or will the existing factions get some new updated kits? It's entirely possible, but mostly for now it'll be focused on the film. You mentioned earlier that 1,500 views is not great. Just curious, what is your baseline for good? For me, a good video is where I get 2K in the first 24 hours of a video going up. Generally, that's a good video. A great video is one where I might get 5K in the first 24 hours. So here we have some Rohan Royal Guard. So we have some Rohan Royal Guard on foot. So there's 2 of them. And we have a third one here. There. So I need to get 3 more of these, and I'm going to give them swords, I think. We then have these, the ones on horse, which I need to stick these to the horse, because they're just going to be a nightmare to prime otherwise. So I need to get 3 more on horse, 3 more on foot. And then we have the Heroes of Helm's Deep. Here they are. So we have a Theoden. I'm not sure if... I mean, I will paint this one. I'm not sure if I'll do a video on it, though, because we've already done a Theoden video. But that is a classic old metal Theoden right there. We have Gimli, Son of Gloin. There he is, the Helm's Deep version. We have Aragorn, the Helm's Deep version, with his swords a little bit bent. There we go. There's Aragorn. We have Legolas as well. There he is. Classic metals. We have Haldir as well. There we go. So Haldir, this guy, plus this Herald of Lothlorien, basically. It's a Galadriel warrior with a banner. Plus a box of Galadriel warriors will absolutely suit, no problem. And then we have Gamling there with a sword, and Eowyn as well. I need to get the one with the banner. Want Royal Guard in plastic. I want Royal Guard in plastic. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to buy more. I want new riders and I want new Royal Guard. How does Iridan the Witness, one of the best models for 2024, have 5.7k and a Blood Angels captain has 13k? Well, there you go, Edward. That right there is the popularity of AOS versus 40k. How do you feel about the undershirts on the new Rohan all being red? Do you think it will make it confusing on tabletop with Royal Guard, who traditionally were the only ones wearing red in the army? Not necessarily. The Rohan Royal Guard have got a lot of armour on them, so they're okay. They shouldn't read the same. What would people recommend as a first faction / army? I think the best thing to do with MESBG is to do 1 good and 1 evil. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. So, like, in the new book, for example, The Armies of the Lord of the Rings, you don't, it's not like, you don't have to do like faction specific things. You do moment, the best way to describe it is to do moment specific things, right? So as an example, you can just do the Fellowship of the Ring. That is an army in and of itself. So you just buy a box of the Fellowship of the Ring, and there you go, you've done it. That is an army. That is a whole army as well. That is going to run you more than enough to play in most events, basically. So that's an army list. Is the Fellowship of the Ring, but then you also have things like on the evil side, you have things like Lurtz's Scouts or Ugluk's Scouts, whatever it's called, which is that force from the Two Towers running across the plain, basically. Geek Commander, thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very kind of you. We're on 402 members. Will you get the new Great Eagles? I'd like to, but it's a case of money, and I don't have any to buy any at the moment. Games Workshop didn't send them to me, basically. You're going to need Defenders of Helm's Deep for an army. Yeah, so I want to do Defenders of Helm's Deep. Which is why I need to buy Gamling and a box of Galadrim Warriors. I'm all set on the Rohan front, to be honest. I have 24, 36. I have 36 painted Warriors of Rohan and Theoden. And of course, as you can see, I have Legolas, Aragorn, Gimli, and Haldir. But I need to get Gamling with the banner, basically. And if I can get some more Royal Guard on foot and Royal Guard on horse as well, that will help me for Riders of Theoden. Asmodeus, thank you very much for the 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. Legendary. Truly legendary. This is on 407. We're 43 away from our goal of 450. And there's 58 people watching. If everyone gifted 1 now, we would get there. Always wanted to do Defenders of Helm's Deep, but just the Defenders of the Wall. Love the 3 hunters and some elves. Keep the Rohan guys over there. Shame the list doesn't let you. Well, yeah, you do have to have. You have to have Theoden in the Defenders of Helm's Deep. I love your stuff, man. Just had to sub. Currently doing your Dark Angels Terminators. Need to paint a Wraithbone base over my primer as I don't have that primer. Ah. You can do it on with white. What about Halath and Aldor? They're not actually in the army list, I don't think. At the moment. I'm not entirely sure. ADR Wargaming with 10 gifted Warhipster memberships. Incredible. Thank you very much. Captain Mannerings with 1 gifted Warhipster membership. Thank you so much, guys. "33% of the army being elves doesn't line up with the film. I'm pretty sure there is a lot more elves fighting than 33% in the film." I mean, there is a lot. There is a lot of them in the film. in the film. Well, 300 against 10,000. Most have seen too many winters, or too few. Asmodeus, thank you so much for the 1 gifted Warhipster membership. Thank you so much. And Goblin Horde, thank you very much for being a member for 7 months. 2 months and our relationship baby will be born. Big Bad Peter Gaming with 1 gifted Warhipster membership. Thank you so much, Big Bad Peter Gaming. Episode on nice even 420. Way. Have you seen Zorp's Helm's Deep build? I have. I'm very jealous of it. I want it. I'll buy you the Gamling and Hammer set if you turn it into a painting guide. Well, my intention would be to turn it into a painting guide. Gamling and Hammer. There he is, £37. They're metal, aren't they? Is the horse metal? Or is it a plastic horse? Contains 3 metal miniatures, a model of each on foot, as well as a mounted version of Gambling, and comes supplied with Citadel 40mm round base and 2 Citadel 25mm round bases. Their rules can be found in Armies of the Lord of the Rings. It's going to be one of the most difficult videos in the world to film, is filming that banner. Because it looks to be an absolute pain. Have to leave, guys. Cross my fingers for the membership goal. See you all soon. See you soon, Asmodeus. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, what was it? I did a. I don't know if the points have changed. That's the problem. I can find out. I can use my powers of deduction to find out what the points of things are. Have you painted any of the Forge World Iron Hills models? Some of the best in the range. A long time ago. There is not a video for it because it was before I had YouTube. But I did do Dane Ironfoot on Pig and on foot. And I also did Thror. And was it Thror? I think I did Thror. Captain Mannerings, thank you very much for services rendered. Thank you. So King Theoden, King of Rohan, 75 points. Snowmane with armor is 25 points, so that whacks him right up to 100. And then heavy armor and shield puts him on 110 points for Theoden, King of Rohan. AMR's 110. What? $135, 140 points for AMR. That's quite spectacular. Alan, thank you very much for 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. So why is Theoden so much less? Is it because he has 1 fate rather than 3 fate? Oh, I suppose it might be because of Guthwine. That makes sense. Eowyn, 60 points. Plus armor, 65. Plus a horse, 85. Plus a throwing spear, 90. Gambling's 55 points. Plus the royal standard. Rohan makes him 95. Plus a horse makes him 115. Oh, I see. Aldor and Haleth are in here. Haleth, son of Hammer. It's because he will not risk open war. Open war is upon you, whether you would risk it or not. When last I looked, Theoden, not Aragorn, was king of Rohan.
Helm's Deep. He flees to the mountains when he should stand and fight.
He's only doing what is best for his people, what he thinks is best for his people. Helm's Deep is a trap. There is no way out of that ravine. I know these films too well. Goblin Horde, thank you so much for 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. We're on 430 now. Aragorn, King LSR. So is Aragorn in here twice? He must be. Because there's the King LSR version. And then there's the Aragorn Strider version. Surely. That's how that works. Yeah, Aragorn Strider. Ba-na-ba-now. Ba-na-wow. 200 points for Aragorn with Anduril. 220 with the horse as well. Anyway, what do we have? So, as an example, for the question around army lists earlier, you can do Breaking of the Fellowship as an army list, right? And that consists of Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Boromir, Haldir, Frodo, Samwise, Merry and Pippin, and then Lothlorien warriors. They are the Rangers version, because they're not the ones with armor. How many points is Bard's family? No idea. How bad of a list is Dane plus 3 chariots? I don't know. Hello, Travis. Look, I think the thing to bear in mind with Lord of the Rings is that some of it it's not really about whether or not it's good or not. It's about whether it's fun. So you pick... So, for example, within Rohan, right? Within Rohan lists alone, the things that we have as options are the Kingdom of Rohan, which is just a sort of generic Rohan list, which lets you just take whatever you want, really, for from the Rohan list. That's Theoden, Theodred, Éomer, Hammer, Gamling, Captains, Éowyn, Warriors of Rohan, Riders of Rohan, and Rohan Royal Guard. That's your Kingdom of Rohan list, army list. But you do have the Road to Helm's Deep as well, which consists of Theoden, not in armor, by the looks of things, although I think you could probably put him in armor. But to keep it screen accurate, you wouldn't. Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Hammer, Gamling, Captains of Rohan, and Riders of Rohan and Rohan Royal Guard. That's the Road to Helm's Deep. That's from when they moved from Edoras to Helm's Deep. You then have Defenders of Helm's Deep, which consists of Theoden, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Haldir, Gamling, Captains of Rohan, Galadrim captains, Aldor, Haleth, son of Hammer. They are here. Well done for correcting me. Warriors of Rohan, Rohan Royal Guard, and Galadrim warriors. No cavalry. No horses here because it's Defenders of Helm's Deep. It's from when they're manning the walls. You have the Ride Out army with Theoden, King of Rohan, Aragorn, Legolas, Gamling, Captains of Rohan on horse, Riders of Rohan, and Rohan Royal Guard, all on horses. There's the Riders of Éomer. That is then Éomer and Gandalf and a bunch of Riders of Rohan. For when look to my coming at first light on the 5th day. At dawn, look to the east. The Riders of Theoden. Ride for Ruin and the World's Ending. Death. 4th Aerlingus. And then you have the Army of Edoras, which is the new one, which is the Helm, Hammer, Hand, Haleth, Hammer, others. And the Defenders of the Hornburg, again another one from the film. The new one, upcoming. And that's it, you've got tons of army lists for Rohan. And then, of course, Minas Tirith. There's loads of them as well. You have a Minas Tirith army, the garrison of Ithilien, reclamation of Osgiliath, all that. So yeah, there's loads and loads of options within Thingy. I really like this change to how they've changed how you build your armies. It's not really a big change, but it is a more concise change. This is how you do it now. The kind of more generic stuff is gone to stop you from kind of like taking a good list that then just has bits from over here, bits from over there, and bits from over here to create a kind of basically a soup list. It's a very exciting time to be an MESBG fan. It really is. I mean, I'm a die-hard Rohan fan, as you know. Your fingers will remember their old strength better if they grasped your sword. Have you played the new rule set yet? No, I've been reading it a lot. Obviously, this book comes in your War of the Rohirrim box. I like it. It makes sense to me. It's, you know, it is a good set of rules. It's tight. It's much tighter than it used to be. In terms of just like the language is better. Some of the kind of more complicated stuff is just over and done with, and the stuff that makes sense is in there that makes sense. It's really nice. I loved the stream yesterday. What contrast paints would be best for a Santa red and an elf green? Going to have some Christmas things in my December Tales entry. Thank you very much for the £5 there, Pritters. The best red is Blood Angels red. That's very Santa red. Especially if you do it over like a Wraithbone base, a warmer base, it'll be very, very, very Christmas red. And then for the green, you kind of have two choices. You can either go for that sort of brighter Christmas green in the form of orc flesh, something like that, or a slightly darker, more forest green for the colour of a Christmas tree would be Dark Angels green, would be my recommendations. What type of tiny marines are you building? So I built the second of my 2 Fire Raptors. So we have our 2 planes. Meow. Meow. So I built that today on the stream. And we've just been really talking about MESBG for the last 45 minutes because everyone's really excited for it. It's an exciting time for MESBG. It's really, really, really cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that would take us over the 600. What is the scale difference between MESBG and 40k? Oh, significant. I will show you. We'll get a Warrior of Rohan. And we will have a Guardsman. No, actually. So they look actually almost reasonably similar. So there's a Guardsman and a Warrior of Rohan. These are the new Warriors of Rohan. They're actually pretty similar, which I'm surprised about. I didn't think that that was the case. But once you start throwing in, like, Space Marines, you see there's quite a significant so if we do that, for example, so if I'm used to painting guard, then MESBG will be a piece of cake. Sort of. So things like the belts and stuff on your Warriors of Rohan will be considerably smaller and more fine. So if I find a slightly better... well, actually, no. This is still a perfectly fine... So if you look here at the so you see the chest, the shoulder straps and stuff. If you compare it to the belt right there, going around the waist of the warrior, do you see what I mean? So the details are just significantly more chunky on a guardsman than they are on a Warrior of Rohan. If that makes sense. And then if you compare to like an older MESBG model. So that's a new Warrior of Rohan. And then that's a Warrior of Minas Tirith. You see what I mean? And then, of course, you can compare old and new Warriors of Rohan as well. And then that's two of the new ones together. I love these models so much. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Priming the Mordor side of the Osgiliath set will be using your tutorial for them as the Minas Tirith Warriors came out great. Oh, thanks, Pritters. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for the stream. Have a great rest of the day, chat. I'm sure everybody will. I'm having a good day. Boo boo doo doo. Oh, James, you're here. You asked me if I was going to paint the Rattlings. We are in progress on them. So this one is a finished one. So I've done one and a 2. And a 3 and a 4. And number 5. So 5 of them are done. The other 5 are Warhipster battle ready currently. I did the shading just before I went live. It's going to be a long video, that one. Only because I've still got to do the dog and the booby traps as well. Great stream. Gonna duck out and watch the big bearded man. Laters all. Enjoy. Tell him I said hi. Tell him I love him. And his butt. Any recommendations for brown beard colour of the old world dwarfs? Yeah. Let me have a look. The old world dwarves. Dwarven holds. Pictures. I mean, you can go for a number of different color combinations. Sometimes, like a couple of layers of snakebite leather will get you there. Wildwood is also good. Cygor brown for a really dark brown beard. 2 layers of gore grunter fur also works for a slightly reddier beard. If you want this kind of color, that's basically Cygor brown with a bit of Null Oil over the top. Essentially, any of the browns will help you. So yeah, I'm just in the midst of doing the rest of the Rattlings. They're they're what we're going to finish. That will, once we've done all 14 of those models, that will take us to 591 models painted on the year. And as mentioned, we need to find 9 more models to paint between now and the end of 2024. Model number 600 will be Fulgrim transfigured, but I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do for the other 8. I could do a bunch of MESBG, sure. I could do the Saviors of Cinderfall. We shall have to see. We'll have to figure it out. But I'm feeling pretty confident that we're going to get to 600 models painted on the year now, which is a terrifying prospect. Smaug, perhaps. Ha! Yeah, just throw Smaug in. That's all good. I have to buy that first.
Oh.
But there we go. Anyway, guys, it is now 7:30. So we're probably going to wrap things up very shortly because I need to. I need to order some dinner, really, and figure out what I'm going to be doing for dinner. Basically, is the main concern for me at the moment. Do you do commission work still? No, I will only go back to commission work if my YouTube channel were to collapse tomorrow. As I've talked about in the past with commission work, the problem with doing commission work is that people want to commission you to do stuff you've already done. Most of the time is what it is. And if I'm doing commission work, I'm not making videos. Is the problem. So I'm kind of very, very rarely. I mean, I'll take on like maybe a character here or there, but I'll never do an army commission again. I don't think it's too much. It's too much to fit it in with everything else that I've got going on. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to run off. So thank you very much for hanging out with me today. We will be back tomorrow. There will be a painting video for you tomorrow. There will be a live stream on Wednesday. There will be a painting video on Thursday and on Friday and on Saturday and probably on Sunday as well. And then we'll be back for another Me Time Monday on Monday probably. And then more hijinks will ensue, I'm sure. But yeah, we've got the Hill Tribesman, General Targ, Prince Haleth. We've got Rohan Houses. We've got the Wrecker Mob from Brutal and Cunning. And we've got the Rattlings as well. All coming up for you very, very, very soon on the channel as painting videos. And then we've got to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the month. But on that note, I will see you all very soon in the next bit of content. And if I don't talk to you again this week, I will see you soon. Have a great one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you to all the gifted memberships and the super chats. You guys are legends. Seriously, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yeah, keep kicking ass, stream and chat. You're amazing. I love you. Yeah, have a great one. Bye for now. Hand of farewell. Going across the face this time. Do that. Bye-bye. Bye.